you're stuck in low elo, chances are you're making at least one of these 7 mistakes. Today I'll break them down, show you why they're holding you back, and how to fix them so you can finally climb. The fastest way to get farmed in low elo is bad positioning. Players walk right into the open, chase too far forward, or stand in the middle of the objective with no protection. In Rivals, every hero, even tanks, rely on cover and smart positioning to survive. For instance, shield tanks like Strange tend to stand out in the open because they feel like they have invulnerability with their shield. But when that shield breaks, you've got nothing protecting you from being burst down if your opponents hit some nice shots or your healers are distracted from dive in the backline. It's your job to use cover or even use the cart to buffer and mitigate the damage that you're taking. This is going to keep you alive longer, give you more general uptime and a bigger impact on the game. When it comes to DPS or support, it only takes a couple of well-placed shots to be burst down, so good positioning becomes even more important. In games like Valorant and Counter-Strike, peeking angles and using cover is incredibly effective, and Rivals is no different. Some might argue it offers even more of an advantage. You can collect information in third person or even line up the perfect headshot before you peek, which is going to catch your opponents off guard. Cover is the only thing that will keep you alive long enough to have considerable impact. Remember, every time you die, your impact is 0. Staying alive is the best way to have consistent impact throughout the entire game. The second mistake I see that's far too common is that low elo players either burn abilities instantly or they die with them unused. Both are just as bad. Every ability in Rivals is designed to shift fights, win 1v1s or keep you alive in precarious situations, whether it's mobility, CC or damage. Let's take Psylocke for example. Psylocke has lots of mobility, 2 dashes and a brief few seconds of invisibility. Lots of players in lower ranks dive into the backlines and try to get a quick kill without thinking through how they plan to survive afterwards. You have to plan ahead. Try and always keep at least 1 dash to retreat back into cover and decide where you're going to retreat to before you've actually jumped in. Otherwise you're either going to overcommit and die or panic and dash into a position where you'll just be bursted down anyway. The same can be said for pretty much every other character in the game. Another example, Hela, you've got your bird to disengage, reposition or just break incoming damage. The most common mistake when it comes to util is dropping your load too early and not thinking strategically the best way to use it to maximize your advantage. Start planning ahead just a little bit and work out what abilities you need to save or use to stay alive whilst applying pressure. Moving on, the third biggest mistake I've seen climbing is a lack of awareness. You can get so much information just from being locked in and paying attention to what's going on around you, but low elo players ignore it. Footsteps, ability sounds, ping indicators, even the kill feeds, they all tell you what's happening before you see it. If you hear a panther on the high ground above you, don't ignore it. It's your cue to switch your attention and either look to scissor with your fellow support or assist them with the dive that's about to happen. Likewise, if you see an enemy support drop in the kill feed, that's your green light to push. Low elo players die because they only watch their crosshair. High elo players are constantly processing information like their Rain Man, predicting where enemies will come from before they even appear. It's also crucial to track ultimates, both on your team and on the opposite team. Are both the enemy supports holding their ults? Well, pressure them both and try to force them to panic and pop them at the same time. Is the enemy Phoenix holding her ult to destroy yours? Well, it's probably best not to just pop it the first opportunity you get, but hold off and wait until it's been used. If you're a Psylocke, trying to find an opportunity to ult, think whether or not the enemy Loki has used his lamps yet. If not, you have to force them first. This is the kind of information that can win games. It's key to making well-informed and impactful plays. Following on from the last mistake, the opposite is also true. Holding your ults too long can drastically reduce the impact that you're going to have throughout the game. Ultimates and Rivals are game changers, but only if you actually use them. In low elo, players hoard their ults like they're saving them for a cutscene. The round ends, the match ends, and their ult has been ready for the past 5 minutes. That is wasted potential. Let's take Magneto for example. Lots of Magnetos are going to save their ult to counter Cloak and Dagger, but sometimes just popping it in the middle of a fight and even taking down a DPS or a support who's not using their ultimate yet can swing a fight in your favour. You're going to force the enemy to reposition or to burn resources, and that can be huge value. Pros don't wait for the perfect ult, they use them to flip fights in their favour, even if just by a small amount. Don't end the game with a full ult bar. If you've got it and you can make even a small shift in your favour, use it. Just keep in mind, if you are going to use it like this, make sure it's not going to be easily countered with a shield or a bubble. Force cooldowns and take the opportunity if it presents itself. Once again, information is key. The last important mistake I see regarding ultimates is not using them as a psychological tool to pressure your opponents. Using Strange as an example, even if you don't have your ultimate ready, you can play like you do and your opponents have to respect that you might have it. This is a very high level kind of play, but if learned early on, can be very powerful and help you climb faster. Here's a little clip of Sinatra talking about this very thing while watching the championship.
No, like if I play like Groot, I would just like run forward, look at the ground, like, you know what I mean? Like just hard bait it out easy. Yeah. And just keep doing that.
What he's saying is that Groot can essentially walk forward and threaten his ult, and by doing so he's going to force reactions and make the enemy respond, even if he doesn't actually use it. Let's look at another practical example of this. In this clip we can see the effect that this can actually have. I do not have my ultimate ready, but my opponents don't know any better. By flying up and threatening its usage, I'm forcing my opponents to back off, drawing all of their attention and making enormous amounts of space for my team. The best part is, I don't even have my ultimate ready. Learn this early and take full advantage of it. Bringing us towards the end of the video, another massive mistake which is preventing people from climbing is being too predictable. Low elo players are predictable. They push the same place, always stick with their team, and never shift their playstyle. Once the enemy catches on, you're a walking script. Instead, change your pace. If you've been overly aggressive, slow down and look for good opportunities while you farm your ult charge. If you've been playing passive, perhaps reposition and either dive or apply pressure to the backline to make it easier for your team to push. Even as a tank, you can use your massive pool of health to dive past the enemy tank and force the supports back. They won't expect it, and you might even pick one of them off before they even have a chance to react. Unpredictability is a powerful tool that not enough people take advantage of, and it's one that has allowed me to win countless games. If your opponent isn't saying, "What the hell is he doing?" you're probably too predictable. This doesn't however mean you should always be playing this way. If your opponent is only saying that, then you're predictably being a moron. Yes, I'm talking about every 112 Spider-Man agent invading your lobbies. There's a fine balance to strike, and to be unpredictable it has to be a play you wouldn't normally make, or that your opponent won't expect based off how you've been playing. It's very important to test your limits when it comes to your playstyle and the characters that you've chosen to play. Otherwise, you're never going to find out what you're capable of. Lastly, let's talk about perhaps the most important thing when it comes to competitive games, and that is mental. If there's one thing that you take away from this video, let it be this: do not tilt. Rivals is chaotic, and low elo players tend to tilt fast. One bad death, one whiffed ult, and suddenly you're typing in chat instead of focusing on the game. The second that you tilt, you stop improving and you start tanking elo. This is the main mistake that keeps most players hard stuck. High elo players stay calm. They don't care if it's 0-3, they don't care if they've died 3 times in a row without making a dent, because one team wipe or one single kill or one single mistake can flip the entire match. Tilt makes you sloppy, it makes you impatient, and it makes you predictable. Staying calm makes you dangerous. If you want to climb, control your mental. Take breaks if you feel yourself getting tilted, or even just hop in the range and chill out and practice your aim if you sense that it's starting to set in. You will never reach a high rank if your mental is bad. So those are the 7 mistakes keeping you stuck in low elo in Rivals. Fix just a few of these and you'll notice the difference instantly. If this helped, drop a like and comment which mistake you're guilty of. We've all been there, and admitting your mistakes is the fastest path to improvement. Don't forget to sub for more educational content.